What up guys, it's Testy here again with another video, part 4 of our series, Be Better at PUBG Mobile. Let's dive right in. So what we're going to talk about here is first person perspective view. And this only applies to first person perspective games, not third person. So there's actually a sliding scale. You can slide up or down and it changes the amount of environment that renders on your screen at one time. And it has some advantages and disadvantages. So let's show you the difference right now. So here I'm at the school. You can see I'm parked there in front of the building. And this is with the first person perspective view turned all the way down. So notice the left edge of the school. That's going to be our sort of our baseline to notice the difference between these two perspectives. So I got the left part of my screen right along the left edge of the school. So let's turn it all the way up and see what the difference is. So we scroll down and right now it's set at 80. We'll turn it up to the max setting of 103. And check this out. Look at the difference of the school. Look how much further back it seems. And look at how much wider your field of view is. It's at least 20, maybe 30% wider field of view. Which that's a good thing, right? I mean, you could, if enemies were approaching us from either side of the school, we would be able to spot them. Whereas before, we'd have to choose one side of the school or the other. Now here are the two views side by side again. This is the original view with the narrowest field of view, and then compared to the one with the wider field of view. So that's a big difference, right? So let's look now at how the weapon's ADS characteristics differ between the two perspectives. The perspective is set at 80, which is the minimum. That gives us the narrowest field of view, but it also makes objects in the distance appear the closest. So actually describing this is kind of difficult because depending on your context and how you have your settings now, this may look completely normal or it may look kind of odd. Now this is how I normally have my settings, so this was completely normal. The red dot doesn't zoom in the screen very much. It just brings in your environment slightly, gives you a nice little target. But check out the difference here when we up the perspective. And take note of how close those huts appear as well. Now check out how much further those huts look than they did previously. And this is why I think having your first person perspective view turned down is a big advantage when it comes to spotting enemies. At this point, you probably can tell why I think that, but we will discuss that here in a moment. For now, let's look at how much the environment changes on our screen when we use a red dot at this wider perspective. So here we ADS, and it's important to note that no matter what your perspective is, once you ADS, the view you have down your sights is the same. And because of this, our wider field of view that we have now causes a greater environment change when we ADS. Now this is important to note because those of you that have a lower end device that's struggling to run the game, this is good to know because if you turn down your field of view, it should improve your performance. If you have a lower field of view, you have less environment to process on your screen at a given time, as well as less change in your environment when you ADS down a scope. Now, as I hinted at earlier, I think a lower perspective value makes it easier to spot enemies at a distance as opposed to a higher one. So right now my perspective value is low. We see that bot out there who's crouched in the grass at this point. And we go to our menu and we raise the perspective value to max here, and the bot is going to take off running, and look, he is about the same size as he was crouched, but he's actually standing up and running away. So I know this isn't actually the best example. Hopefully this translates better on PC than I'm imagining. If you're watching on your phone on YouTube, that probably makes it look a little better. But where this idea really presents itself is when enemies are peeking around objects as opposed to being openly exposed in a field. You can really see someone's head around a tree better with a lower perspective view than a higher one. Guys, hope this video helped. Hope you learned something. Thanks for watching.